One afternoon, as Lindiwe sat beneath the school's mango tree, deep in thought, an old woman came to her with a basket of fresh fruit. Her back was bent, but her spirit stood tall. "You are Lindiwe, the one who speaks with courage?" the old woman asked with a knowing smile. Lindiwe nodded. "Yes, I am." The old woman placed a basket at Lindiwe's feet and sat beside her. "Do you know what makes rain fall, child?" Lindiwe thought for a moment before replying. "I suppose it's the clouds gathering together, heavy with water." "Ah, yes, but the clouds need the wind to move them. The rain doesn't fall without the wind. And sometimes the wind is the hardest part," the old woman explained. Lindiwe listened intently as the woman continued. "You, my child, are the wind. You stir the clouds, push them toward the rains. You carry the truth, and that truth will fall like rain, watering those who need it." "I never thought of it that way," Lindiwe said thoughtfully. "Truth," the woman said with a wink, "is like rain. It may not always be welcome, but it is needed, and it will wash away what's hidden in the dust." The old woman rose to leave, but before she did, she added, "You may not see the full impact of your words now, but like rain, they will nurture new growth." Lindiwe watched her go, feeling the weight of her words settle deep within her. The final year at Riverbend was drawing to a close, and Lindiwe had become known for something far more important than her academic achievements. It was her way of carrying the truth, loudly, proudly, and without shame. One day, during a break, a group of students gathered around her, curious about a new challenge. "Lindiwe," Kato said, his voice now friendly, "tell us about the drums. The elders say they speak truth." Lindiwe smiled. The drums had always spoken to her. As a child, her grandmother had told her the stories of the drums, the heartbeats of the village, the voices of ancestors, and the messengers of fate. "They don't just speak," she said, her voice filled with reverence. "The drums tell the story of the people. Every beat carries a lesson. If you listen closely, the drums will teach you things you can't find in books." Kato raised an eyebrow. "What are they teaching now?" Lindiwe closed her eyes, as though the sound of the drums was already in her ears. "They are teaching us that truth is not a quiet thing," she said. "It doesn't hide in the corners. Truth is like a drumbeat. It echoes. It shakes the ground beneath your feet, and when you hear it, you cannot ignore it. It demands to be heard." The students stood in silence, the rhythm of the drums echoing in the background, almost as though they were listening too. Lindiwe had grown accustomed to being the voice of reason at school, but her voice began to spread beyond the classrooms. One morning, a younger student came to her after assembly. "Lindiwe, I've heard you speak about courage," the young girl said shyly. "But how do you find it? How do you speak when you are afraid?" Lindiwe smiled and took the girl's hand. "Let me tell you a story," she said, "one that my grandmother told me when I was young. There was a young sunflower, shy and small, standing alone in a field. One day, it asked the sun, 'How can I shine as brightly as you?' The sun replied, 'By standing tall, even when the storm comes. By reaching for the light, even when darkness surrounds you.'" Lindiwe's eyes softened as she continued, "Courage is not the absence of fear, child. It is standing tall despite it. Just like that sunflower, reaching up to the sun, no matter how hard the wind blows." The young girl's eyes sparkled with understanding. "Thank you, Lindiwe," she said, her voice more confident. Lindiwe watched her go, feeling a quiet pride in the girl's newfound courage. She had shared a seed, and now it would grow. As the final exams approached, Lindiwe found herself reflecting on the lessons of the past year. She had walked through fire, faced the storms of her life, and had learned to stand firm, no matter the pressure. But as the days passed and the exams drew nearer, the pressure returned. The familiar feeling of fear tugged at her. Could she really do this? One afternoon, She stood by the window, watching the clouds gather above the school. The sound of a distant drumbeat filled the air. She closed her eyes and heard the old words from Baba Juma. The light makes the shadows tremble. Lindiwe knew what she had to do. It was not about the grade she would receive. It was about how she faced the test, how she remained true to herself. The morning of the final exam, Lindiwe sat quietly, surrounded by the others. Kato passed her a note, offering help. She shook her head and smiled. The tests of life, she knew, would always be harder than any exam. She walked into the exam room not as a girl with something to prove, but as a young woman who had already passed the hardest test of all, the test of staying true to herself. The results of the final exam came in. Lindiwe sat quietly as the principal called her name. It was time to hear whether all her hard work had paid off, but she had already made peace with herself. She had passed the true test, staying true to who she was, regardless of what others thought. As she walked to the principal's office, her thoughts wandered to the lessons she had learned, the wisdom of the elders, the pain of betrayal, and the courage to stand firm. Her grandmother's words echoed in her ears. A tree doesn't grow without the winds pushing it. You must weather the storm to reach the sky. When the principal handed her the report card, Lindiwe saw her results. Perfect. Yet, as she looked at the grades, it didn't feel like victory. Instead, it felt like a quiet understanding that she had grown. "You've done it, Lindiwe," the principal said, his voice full of admiration. "You're a student who showed us the real meaning of perseverance and integrity." Lindiwe nodded, but in her heart, she knew that it wasn't just about the grades. It was about walking a path with honor. The elders' wisdom had guided her, and now it was time to carry that forward, just like a drumbeat in the wind, steady and true. That evening, she sat beneath the mango tree again, this time surrounded by younger students. They looked at her with a mix of awe and curiosity. They wanted to hear more. They wanted to know how she did it. With a smile, Lindiwe began to speak. The weight of wisdom is not light, but it's what will carry you through the hardest trials. Like the sun that does not shy away from the dark clouds, we must face our challenges, knowing they are temporary. The students listened carefully, knowing that the true treasure was not just in her words, but in the example she set. If you enjoyed this story, do us a favor. Hit that subscribe button below. Tap the notification bell so you never miss new episodes. And don't forget to like and share if this story touched you. Your support helps us keep bringing you more amazing African tales. See you in the next story.